Hi, everyone. Welcome to 5 Questions with LeRoy Butler. We're in the divisional round of our segment here.
Yeah. I don't plan this being the last show, by the way.
Okay. Glad you dressed up for it, too.
Hey, man, it's cold outside.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're watching this from, but wherever you are, it's got to be cold.
It's not
but here
that cold.
It's minus 10.
It is not minus 10.
Yeah, we don't have heaters in the studio. On my side, they don't.
We get a low budget. A very small budget.
Hey, that's what
here.
Dallas got to wear underneath their pants when they come in here.
Yeah, right. So we got a huge game coming up. I wanted to ask you a couple of things first.
Okay.
First, we were talking about this off camera for a second. Who would you take? DeMarco Murray, Tony Romo, Des Bryant, or Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Eddie Lacy?
I think it's a great debate. It's a barbershop debate, but if you look at just this particular year, I think DeMarco Murray is an MVP candidate. He'll finish in the top 5. I think if you look at Tony Romo, a lot of people don't think so, but he's the best quarterback on the road, 80-0 on the road. He may get some MVP consideration, maybe finish in the top, at least the top 10. And I think that Des Bryant, when his head is all straight, is one of the best in the league at wide receiver. With the Packers, obviously you have the MVP quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. There's a big distance between him and Romo. Mm-hmm. But Eddie Lacy, 1,200 yards is kind of pedestrian nowadays. It's not these huge numbers. Jordy Nelson had a career year. I think the Dallas triplets statistically altogether trump one guy in Aaron Rodgers if you look at it. But if you break it down individually, I think most people would take the Dallas 3 guys.
Okay. Nobody cares what my opinion is, but I'm going to give it anyways.
Well, you know more than most people.
No, well, here's the way I think about it. You know that I don't drool over Aaron Rodgers.
No, you're very objective.
But
yeah.
In this case, I think he tips the scale because it's almost like the draft on the playground. The first guy I want is the best guy. Absolutely. And then he'll make all the other guys better. That's why I would take the Packer 3. Yeah. But I love Des Bryant. I think he is a big-time player and big-time talent, and Murray speaks for himself.
Right. So it's a good debate.
It is a good debate.
When you put in Terrence Williams and Randall Cobb, now you definitely move towards the Packers because Randall Cobb had a career year, but Terrence Williams, who had 2 touchdowns last week, is a guy that you have to really think about. Now, if you make it expanded more with Cole Beasley, and their tight end Jason Witten, who's a Hall of Famer, you said Dallas has weapons, but so do the Green Bay Packers. They're just missing a tight end, the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
But I think your discussion, your point is very valid with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, let's look at the other side now. On defense, who would you take that would be on Dallas's defense? Who would be comparable to Clay Matthews?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, McClain, I don't know if he's going to play with that concussion. Because I'm telling you, when Sean Lee left that defense, I didn't know how good they were going to be.
Yeah.
But they line up correctly and they fly around. But, it would have to, if McClain's in there, he's the guy.
Okay.
He's the middle linebacker. Everything starts with him. If he's flying around making tackles, that defense plays so good, Tom. You can look at some of the games where Dallas defense shouldn't have been in some games, and for some reason they play well. Now, their cornerbacks, real quick, they don't have a lot of stats. Brandon Carr doesn't even have an interception. I think Orlando Scandler has 2. So there's some opportunities outside and that safety. But, again, this defense with Rob Marinelli, man, they
play hard.
They just play.
Yeah, they play hard.
Right.
They call it a we-fence because they don't have any stars. They just play together as one unit, and they play really hard.
That's true.
And that's always characteristic of a Rod Marinelli defense.
And I think if you look at the statistic where Aaron Rodgers done against Rod Marinelli, you would say you would feel good if you're a Packer going against his particular defense that he was a part of.
Yeah. One assistant coach from a team that played the Cowboys told me, watch Scandrick. That's the guy you got to keep an eye on because, is he going to cover Nelson? Is he going to cover Cobb in the slot? He's a very good player for the
They gave Brandon Carr a lot of money, I think, to step up in games like this, but you're right, like the way Scandrick plays. He gives you opportunities, but it's almost like Sam Shields. He'll look good at times. Sometimes he's just a head scratcher.
Remember last year, Jordy Nelson caught that ball right over, just picked it up right over him. So, you know, nobody's perfect, but he's a good player to watch.
Absolutely.
All right. What do the Packers have to do on offense to win?
Well, you would think, obviously, it would be to run the football. But you got to go back and look at what I did, 5 games on both sides of the ball. What are the Packers good at, what do they need to do, and what they will do? Now, Aaron Rodgers has to buy into what Mike McCarthy wants to do. Now, a lot of people are just a little scared about 5 wides on the 1-yard line trying to throw the football. I think what the Packers will do, they've learned from a lot of that. So now it's about matchups in the playoffs time. So what they're going to do is they're going to run a lot of screens with Eddie Lacy, because screens with Detroit killed Dallas. They're going to make these guys think, and at the same time, I think they're going to run the football out on the perimeter, because that's what Dallas is a little bit smaller there. So you may see Eddie Lacy get 20 carries. You may see James Starks maybe get 10. And now, here's the big elephant in the room. How much can Aaron Rodgers move out of the pocket?
Right.
If he can't move, if he's a pocket passer, great against the number 1 defense, number 2 defense, Detroit. He stayed in the pocket. He was 11 of 13 and won the game. So I think he can do both, but I think they'll pound the ball outside, run a lot of screens and draws.
You know what I thought back to when I think of Aaron Rodgers' injuries? I think back to the game when Favre had the sprained ankle against Chicago and he couldn't move.
Right.
You know, I'm sure Holmgren, changed his game plan to work around that. Well, he ended up throwing for 5 touchdowns. You know, I don't know how that's going to play out in this game.
I remember Brad saying, hey, there's nothing wrong with my arm. He was doing this all day. Okay, boys, there's nothing wrong with my arm. And I said, hey, that's right. That's all we need is your arm.
That's right.
And I saw his ankle that they thought he shouldn't have played. It was all purple and yellow and green looking. And you just admire a guy doing that. But remember, when they talk about Aaron Rodgers, Romo doesn't practice. He has a bad back.
Right.
So he has to get a shot every week. So I know people think about Aaron Rodgers being healthy. Neither quarterback is going to be 100%.
Exactly. If the Packers win this game, what have they done on defense? What do they do on defense?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Maybe your best question all year. That means they held DeMarco Murray to under 100 yards. They've held Dez Bryant to maybe 1 touchdown, not 150 like the first time they played him in Dallas. And that means Tony Romo turned the ball over a couple times, which he's on course to do. He's on that list of quarterbacks that's going to give you opportunities. But again, if you're not where you're supposed to be, he can hurt you with all the weapons we talked about earlier.
Right.
So that's a very good question. If this defense has to step up, and I was thinking about this the other day real quick. Which defense is better? 2010 when they won the Super Bowl, this defense. Or to make it simpler, the defense from 15-1. Remember they scored a lot of turnover, but they gave up more yards than anybody in NFL history.
I'll take that 2010 defense because they had more impact players. Nick Collins, Woodson,
B.J.
Tremont was playing, Raji.
Yeah, you're right.
Cullen Jenkins, Desmond Bishop. They had guys who were. I would take that defense over this one.
I would agree with that. But this defense, for some reason, man, they play good enough to be in games. But now with the playoffs, they got to be good enough to win games. And I think they can be good enough to do that.
Yeah, let's talk about home field advantage. It was you were in one of the longest streaks ever in
it was because of
history,
me personally.
Of course, because you're from Wisconsin.
Who cares about Reggie and Brett? But it was fun, Tom, because when teams drove up, they knew they were 3 points down. It was this mystique about Lambeau Field that when you drove up, man, this place is a hard place to play. And when you're trying to get that back now. But if you have 5 losses since 2002 at home in playoff losses, that's what Jason Garrett's going to show everybody.
Absolutely.
So hey, man, these guys have been one and done for a while. The last couple have been at home. So we can beat these guys. But McCarthy had to say, no. We've won all our games here. Every time we've left this locker room, it's been with a smile. And we're going to continue that.
Yeah. I think there's a common thread between the teams that have beaten them most recently, and that's New York Giants, 49ers. Big, physical, tough, hard-nosed teams. And if McCarthy wants to win at home, they got to play that way.
Absolutely.
I mean, they got to be really physical, don't you think, on
Well,
Sunday?
I would agree with that. And the teams that beat them either won the Super Bowl or deep in the playoffs. And I think that's what Dallas brings. Big, physical team that likes to run the football, that plays well on defense, very well coached. But at the same time, when you see those Dallas guys in the press box with their fur coats on and all that rich stuff, sipping champagne, it makes you want to go there and kick the tail out of them.
Hey, Chris Christie's a pretty big dude. He could line up at
And we got Bob Harlan to take care of him.
Bob's quick.
Hey,
Bob's quick. He can hit, too.
Yeah,
he can.
It's going to be a fun matchup. I think this is the matchup that the NFL really wanted.
All right. Quick prediction.
Well, I think I looked at 15 of the terrible plays of the Packers and 15 of the great plays, and as well as the Dallas game. And through my computer, which my brain, it came out as the Dallas Cowboys should lose by 10 points. I think they're underdogs by 6. So I would say it would be 31-21.
Okay.
Green Bay Packers win.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. You don't need
wanna
to
do your
watch the
prediction
game. Mine will be in the paper on Sunday.
Oh, that's
so
right.
Be
Yeah,
sure
we
you
gotta
buy
sell
a
paper.
Sunday paper, okay?
Yeah, I definitely buy one. I say the Packers win 31-21.
All right, great. And don't forget to check in on X's and O's. We got 2 really good plays you're going to want to look at. See you next week.